Navy SEALs. Marsoc Raiders. Two of the most highly trained, lethal, and capable special operations units in the Navy and Marine Corps. What sets them apart? What do they have in common? What can they do? Let's take a dive into what you need to know about Navy SEALs and Marine Raiders. We'll start off the video with a brief introduction on both of these units. Let's kick it off with the Navy SEALs. The US Navy SEALs are one of the most popular units in the world, and honestly, they really don't need much of an introduction. Since 1962, they have been making an impact in the world of special operations. Just about everyone knows who they are. Their trident, which looks like this, is easily recognized by people who aren't even affiliated with the military. SEAL stands for Sea, Air, and Land, which showcases just how capable and versatile these warriors are in warfare. They are the US Navy's primary special operations force and have a rich history in combat. Their motto is, "The only easy day was yesterday." Okay, now on to Marsoc. Marsoc stands for Marine Forces Special Operations Command. They are the United States Marines' only special operations unit. Highly trained, they equip Marines to succeed in austere conditions against a wide range of adversaries. Marine Raiders execute complex, distributed operations in uncertain environments, achieving silent success and strategic impact. Unlike the Navy SEALs, however, Marsoc is relatively new. They were stood up in the mid-2000s, pulling Marines from Force Recon battalions. While they may be much newer than Navy SEAls, they certainly carry their own weight. This is their insignia. It is gold, just like the SEAL Trident is. Officially, Marine Raiders are referred to as Critical Skills Operators, or CSOs for short, but we'll be referring to them as Raiders during this video. But guess what? They're called Raiders for a reason. They get their name from the original Marine Raiders back during World War II, who were special amphibious units that conducted lightning-fast raids against enemy forces in the Pacific. These units were one of the first special operations units to form and see combat during the Second World War. They even used the same logo as the original unit, which looks like this. The Marine Raiders motto is always faithful, always forward. Alright, you just got a taste of what both of these elite entities are. Let's dig a little deeper and go over their capabilities, missions, and opportunities. We're going to kick it off with the capabilities, missions, and opportunities for Marine Raiders. Here's the list of Marsoc's core activities. We're going to briefly explain each of them one by one real quick. Direct action. Raiders conduct short strikes and small-scale offensive actions to seize, destroy, capture, recover, or inflict damage in hostile or denied areas. Special reconnaissance. They acquire information about the capabilities, intentions, and activities of an enemy not normally found in conventional forces. Counterterrorism. This is pretty self-explanatory, as you can probably tell. Marsoc prevents, deters, and responds to terrorism. This is pretty standard across the board for any SOF unit out there. Foreign internal defense. Raiders provide training and other assistance to foreign governments and their militaries to enable them to provide for their own national security. This is very similar to Army SF in some aspects. Security force assistance. They support the security forces of allied foreign governments to achieve operational objectives the United States shares. Counterinsurgency. In concert with allied governments, Marine Raiders conduct military, paramilitary, political, economic, psychological, and civic action operations to defeat insurgent strongholds. Support to combating weapons of mass destruction. They provide expertise, material, and teams to support combatant commanders locating, tagging, and tracking weapons of mass destruction. And last but not least, support to unconventional warfare. They support resistance movement or insurgency, which may support conventional military operations. As you can tell, because of their wide variety of capabilities, their mission sets also follow suit. They can pretty much do it all. Okay, now we're going to move on to the capabilities for the Navy SEALs. They are expertly trained to deliver highly specialized, intensely challenging warfare capabilities that are beyond the means of standard military forces. SEALs' main functions are conducting small unit special operations missions in maritime, jungle, urban, Arctic, mountainous, and desert environments. They're typically tasked to capture or to eliminate high-level targets or to gather intelligence behind enemy lines. Some of their other missions include direct action warfare, special reconnaissance, counterterrorism, and foreign internal defense, meaning that there is a decent overlap between them and the Marine Raiders. Okay, now that you know the capabilities of both the Navy SEALs and Raiders, let's go over the opportunities that both of them have. As with any SOF unit, there's a lot of opportunities for SEALs and Raiders to earn qualifications and certifications like JTAC, Breacher School, Sniper School, Advanced Demolition, and the like. Typically, enlisted members have more room for these schools as officers have a different role to play in these operations. Which leads us to our next point. You have the opportunity to serve as either enlisted or an officer in Marsoc and the SEALs. It's up to you on which you prefer. Both are important and vital. SEALs have the opportunity to go to SOCOM and the Special Operations Tactical Medical course. However, Marsoc Marines do not. Marsoc gets its medical assets from Navy SARCs. If you want to know what a Navy SARC is, stick with us until the end of the video. Other schools and training that both SEALs and Raiders get are foreign language schools, advanced driving, helicopter rope suspension training, SEER, and CQB. SEALs obviously get training in combatant diving, and some Marine Raiders get the training at the USMC Combatant Dive School, the same dive school recon Marines go to. Bottom line, if you decide to go to either of these communities, you'll have more than enough opportunities to sharpen your combat abilities. You'll obviously get a lot more maritime training as a SEAL than if you were a Raider, but we're sure you probably know that. Alright, now you know some key similarities and differences between Navy SEALs and Marine Raiders. Let's go over the structure of both of these entities and where you can expect to be stationed if you find yourself in these communities. After that, we will go over the training pipelines and requirements for each of them. First things first, both SEALs and Marine Raiders fall under SOCOM, which stands for Special Operations Command. Underneath SOCOM is Naval Special Warfare Command, which is where the SEALs fall under, and Marsoc, which is where the Marine Raiders fall under. For the SEALs, Naval Special Warfare Command is broken down into groups, which are further broken down into teams. There's NSW Group 1, 2, 3, 4, 10, and 11. Group 1 has SEAL Teams 1, 3, 5, and 7. Group 2 has Teams 2, 4, 8, and 10. Group 3 has STV Teams 1 and 2. Group 4 has Special Boat Teams 12, 20, and 22. Group 10 has the NSW support activities, and Group 11 has the Reserve Teams 17 and 18. Oh, and how could we forget? There's DevGru, otherwise known as SEAL Team 6, which is its own group. If you want the quick down and dirty of how a SEAL team is broken down, we got you. Each SEAL team has 8 operational platoons that consist of 16 men, as well as a headquarters element. These platoons can be broken down into 2 8-man squads, 4 4-man fire teams, or 8 2-man sniper and recon teams. SEAL teams also draw support from Naval Special Warfare support personnel, who aren't SEALs, but play a vital role in the missions that they undertake. Now onto the structure of Marsoc. Marsoc consists of the Marine Raider Regiment, Marine Raider Support Group, and the Marine Raider Training Center. We're going to focus on the Marine Raider Regiment here. Under the Marine Raider Regiment, there is the 1st Marine Raider Battalion, 2nd Marine Raider Battalion, and the 3rd Marine Raider Battalion. Each battalion consists of 4 companies, and each company consists of 4 14-man Marine Special Operations teams. Each MSOT is organized into 3 elements: headquarters and 2 identical tactical squads. It's also important to mention that there are other personnel that make up the Marine Raider battalions. Aside from the Raiders, there are 2 other entities. There's SOCs, which is short for Special Operations Capability Specialists, and CSS, which is short for Combat Service Specialist. There's a huge difference between the two, and we're about to go over them. SOCs are combat support Marines who can join Marsoc based upon the skills of their MOS. These MOSs range from explosives ordnance disposal, communications, intelligence, dog handlers, and fire control specialists. They have 5-year billets with Marsoc. Combat Service Specialists work with the battalion as their primary MOS, which tends to be Motor T, Logistics, and Admin. They receive some training to help them integrate into the battalion, but they aren't as trained up as their SOCs counterparts. They only have 3 years in their billets before returning to conventional Marine forces. If you want more detailed sources that explain these entities, stick with us until the end. Okay, now that you know the basic breakdown of the Navy SEALs and Marine Raiders, let's go over where you can be stationed if you were to be a part of either of these communities.
Hey there, we hope that you're enjoying the video so far. General Discharge has a Patreon. If you'd like to help support the channel, please consider joining the team. Links in the description. Now back to the video.
We're going to start off with the SEALs. As a SEAL, you can be stationed at SEAL Teams 1, 3, 5, and 7 on the West Coast, and SEAL Teams 2, 4, 8, and 10 on the East Coast. There are also 2 SDV teams, 1 and 2 respectively, with 1 being in Pearl Harbor, Hawaii, and 2 in Little Creek, Virginia. SEAL Teams 17 and 18, which are reserve teams, are at Coronado, California, and Little Creek, Virginia. And then there's DevGru, which is at Dam Neck, Virginia. As a SEAL, you can be stationed at any of these locations. Now on to the Raiders. There's 1st Marine Raider Battalion, which is currently at Camp Pendleton, California, and then there's 2nd and 3rd Marine Raider Battalions, which are in Camp Lejeune, North Carolina. However, in 2022, 1st Marine Raider Battalion will move from the West Coast to the East Coast and join 2nd and 3rd Marine Raider Battalions over in Camp Lejeune. As a Marine Raider, that's where you can be stationed. Alright, now you know the structure of the Navy SEALs and Marine Raiders. Now you're probably wondering what kind of training is required for both of these. Let's get into it. We're going to start off with the Navy SEALs training pipeline, and then discuss the Marine Raiders pipeline. Navy SEAL training is arguably considered the most difficult military training in the entire world. With one of the highest attrition rates out there, roughly 1 in 5 make the cut. The Discovery Channel documentary of Buds Class 234 gave people an idea of how difficult Navy SEAL training is, while also popularizing it. We're going to list you the schools that a Navy SEAL candidate must go through in order to earn their trident, but that's all we'll get into for this video. We have videos that go over Navy SEAL training more in depth, so if you want to know more about that, stick with us until the end. The list of schools are Navy Boot Camp in Great Lakes, Illinois, 8 weeks. NSW Prep in Great Lakes, Illinois, 8 weeks. Buds Orientation, BOW, in Coronado, California, 3 weeks. Basic Underwater Demolition / SEAL Training, otherwise known as BUDS, in Coronado, California, 6 months. SEAL Qualification Training, SQT, mainly in Coronado, California, 6 months. They also attend jump school and free fall school. Keep in mind, just because a SEAL has finished their initial training does not mean they are running and gunning right away. They typically train for another 1.5 years after they receive their trident before they are fully deployable. You may be a SEAL after 1.5 years, but you won't be operating for a while. Alright, now we're going to move on to the Marsoc Critical Skills Operator Pipeline. We're going to list the schools and then expand on them more because the Marsoc pipeline is not as mainstream as the Navy SEALs pipeline is. The list of schools are Assessment and Selection, otherwise known as ANS, phases 1 and 2, each about 3 weeks long, Individual Training Course, or ITC, which is 9 months long. Sounds simple, right? Wrong. These courses are grueling, demanding, and test you to your limits. Let's talk about ANS. Make no mistake, this course is highly competitive. In ANS, you're being evaluated 24/7 to see if you're the right fit for Marsoc. During phase 1, there's lots of physical training here, ranging from running, hiking, and swimming. ANS incorporates a mix of classroom instruction and practical application of basic Marine Corps knowledge and Marsoc and Special Operations Forces fundamentals. You can make it through all of Phase 1, but still not get selected to move on to Phase 2. Phase 2 continues to identify Marines that have attributes compatible with Special Operations missions and the Marsoc way of life. Now on to the individual training course. The ITC has 4 phases. Uses a building block approach, with the training rigor systematically increasing to mimic the complexity and stresses of combat. We'll briefly cover each phase of the ITC, and then move on to the requirements for both SEALs and Raiders. Phase 1 trains and evaluates candidates in the basic skill sets required of all Marine Raiders. It includes physical fitness, swimming, and hand-to-hand combat that is designed around endurance, functional fitness, and amphibious training. The PT will continue throughout the course. Other skills learned in this phase are navigation, patrolling, and tactical combat casualty care. Phase 2 builds upon Phase 1, with this phase teaching candidates mission planning, fire support training, small boat operations and scout swimming, demolitions, photography and information collection and reporting, crew-served weapons, and special reconnaissance. There's also a 9-day exercise called Operation Raider Spirits in this phase, which evaluates students in patrolling and combat operations. Phase 3 is all about CQB training. Students will become very proficient in rifle and pistol marksmanship, techniques and procedures, demolitions, and urban combat skill sets employed by an MSOT. This phase culminates with an exercise named Operation Guile Strike, which is a series of simulated raids against urban and rural targets. In Phase 4, the last phase, students will receive training on irregular warfare operations. ITC culminates with the exercise called Operation Derna Bridge. It will require candidates to use all of the skills mastered throughout the course while training, advising, and operating with a partner nation or a regular force. If a student makes it through, they will then be assigned to a Marine Raider battalion. Okay, so you know what schools you'll be expected to attend if you decide to embark on either of these journeys. But do you even qualify to give it a shot? Let's see. Before we dive into the requirements, we're going to give you the main difference between getting into the SEALs or Marsoc. You can join the Navy and go straight into the Navy SEAL pipeline, whereas for Marsoc, you can't do that. You have to serve some time before you can apply. So bottom line, there's no guarantee you'll ever even get a shot at becoming a Marine Raider if you decide to go that route. Now with that out of the way, we're going to show you some pictures of the basic requirements to join the SEALs and the Raiders. Pause the screen to take a longer look. Here are the Marsoc requirements, and here are the Navy SEALs requirements. Now keep in mind, there are a complex amount of requirements that could take up an entire video on their own, and there are obviously differences in the requirements if you're going enlisted or officer. The last requirement for both of these that we will focus on are the physical test requirements. For the SEALs, you have to pass the minimums for the physical screening test, also known as the PST. Here are the minimums for the PST. Obviously, you should shoot for way higher than that. The SEALSWIC.com website has a PST calculator for you to see how you compare to other people, and gives you an idea of what numbers you should shoot for. As for Marsoc, you need to have a minimum Marine PFT of 235, but we all know you should be shooting for 300. And then you also must pass the Marsoc swim assessment, which consists of this. Pause the screen to take a longer look. Alright, now you know the basic requirements for both Navy SEALs and Marine Raiders. But don't go just yet. We're about to wrap up the video and leave you with some valuable resources to go check out about both of these communities, as we can't cover everything in detail in just this video. During this video, you learned that the Navy SEALs and Marine Raiders are quite similar, yet very different. They're both Tier 2 units that fall under SOCOM, but both serve a different purpose. They both have highly skilled operators, with SEALs having a focus on maritime operations, and Marsoc having a focus on foreign internal defense. But at the end of the day, we're happy to have both of these guys on our side. Okay, so we promised you that we'd leave you with some invaluable resources to go check out. In our description, we left some links for you to go check out, ranging from the PST calculator to the requirements for both of these communities. As far as videos go, if you like the versus video format, we've done other videos like this. The thumbnails on screen are the versus videos we've done so far. The links to these will all be in the description below. And on a final note, Nick Kumalatzos, a former Recon Marine and Marine Raider, did a video where he interviews a Navy SEAL and compares the two communities. Go check it out. That link is in the description. Well, that is the down and dirty of the Navy SEALs and Marine Raiders. If you learned something from this video, make sure to give us a like and subscribe to our channel. As always, thank you for watching. Do you even want to be here? A big shout out to all of our patrons over at our Patreon. Thank you all so much for taking the extra step in supporting our channel. It is much appreciated. If you'd like to be featured on a General Discharge video, go give our Patreon a look and join the team. Here's Nick Naja.
All your friends are subscribing to General Discharge, and you don't even want to be here.